Job is to listen carefully to a short sentence and repeat it exactly as you heard it. That's the main point of this task. It tests your pronunciation skills, how well you hear English sounds, and how well you can reproduce them. The listen and repeat task in the TOEFL speaking section. This task is very different from the interview task because you don't need to think of your own ideas or even use your own words. Your only job is to listen carefully to a short sentence and repeat it exactly as you heard it. That's all there is to it. The format is very simple. You'll hear a short sentence one time, and then you repeat it. You'll also see a small image on the screen, but the image is only a visual reminder of the situation. It is not something you describe. There are 7 of these in a row, each played only once. They all relate back to the same topic, but that doesn't even matter really. The content isn't important, just your ability to repeat the sentence clearly. That's the main point of this task. It tests your pronunciation skills, how well you hear English sounds, and how well you can reproduce them. Pronunciation isn't just about making individual sounds correctly, though. It's also about how the sentence sounds as a whole, using rhythm, stress, and intonation. Other than pronunciation, the task does test short-term memory, because you need to keep the full sentence in your mind long enough to repeat it. But the sentences are short, so this isn't a large factor. And because you have the exact sentence that you need to say, the task is not testing grammar or vocabulary. It focuses only on how you produce the sounds of English. Repeating a sentence after hearing it is only on how you produce the sounds of actor. The task does test short-term memory because you need to keep the full sentence in your mind long enough to repeat it. But the sentences are short, so this isn't a large factor. And because you have the exact sentence that you need to say, the task is not testing grammar and being enough to repeat it. But the sentences are short, so this isn't a large factor. And because you have the exact sentence that you need to say, the task is not testing grammar or vocabulary. It focuses only on how you produce the sounds of English. Repeating a sentence after hearing focuses only on how you produce the sounds of English. Repeating a sentence after hearing it just once can feel difficult because you only get one chance to speak. If you weren't listening closely, you won't be able to listen again. And if you have trouble with a word or make a mistake when speaking, you won't be able to record your version again. So partly, this can be tough just because of the format of the task. It's not something you do when making conversation, but that part can get easier with practice. On the other hand, the main challenge here is pronunciation because it can also be tricky to improve, especially if English sounds are very different from your first language. Stress and rhythm may also feel unfamiliar. Often, English learners don't focus much using English's rhythm when they speak, nor on improving pronunciation of the sounds that are difficult for them. So a task that focuses so much on these aspects can be a little scary. But again, practice is super helpful for this task, even more so than many other tasks on the TOEFL. A good way to approach this task, and when practicing for it, is to focus on imitating the sound of the speaker, not on what feels natural to you. Listen closely to the melody of the sentence, the stressed syllables, and the overall flow. When you repeat the sentence, try to sound exactly the same as what you heard, including everything. That means not just using the same words, but imitating the speaker completely. And if you miss one word, don't worry. Repeat confidently with the parts you did understand. That's better than missing points completely. Maybe you can guess what many of the common problems are on this task. English pronunciation isn't the most difficult of all languages, but there are some very typical issues people have. Many learners struggle with English sounds that don't exist in their own language. There are a few listed here, but the ones that are difficult for you personally may be different. You know the sounds that are toughest for you. Some students ignore the natural rhythm and stress of English and speak too slowly or too quickly. In general, the problem is that people speak in a way that feels comfortable, based on the sounds and rhythms of their native language, instead of using the sounds and rhythms specifically for English. The goal is to imitate, even if it feels unusual at first. It's okay to be uncomfortable when practicing. Next, you'll have the chance to do 4 short examples. We'll only do 4 in this lesson, but again, there will be 7 of them on an actual TOEFL. After each example, we'll show the sentence on the screen so you can try repeating it again. On the TOEFL, you will not see the text. you only hear it once. We're including the text in this lesson just for help in practicing, and to give you the opportunity to do each one twice, first without seeing the text, and then again while looking at it. Your goal is to match the recording as closely as possible. All right, so let's try it.
You are training to work at a hotel front desk. Listen to your supervisor and repeat what he says. Repeat only once.
Greet each guest politely as they arrive. Greet each guest politely as they arrive. Confirm their reservation using the hotel system. Confirm their reservation using the hotel system. Provide a room key and explain how to reach their floor and their room. Provide a room key and explain how to reach their floor and their room. Inform guests about complimentary breakfast hours and other hotel amenities. Inform guests about complimentary breakfast hours and other hotel amenities.
Okay, how did that feel? It's a bit strange, isn't it? But it's great pronunciation practice. This is an exercise that's great for improving pronunciation even outside the context of the TOEFL. I highly recommend doing a lot of this type of practice before your test day, not just with TOEFL questions, but with anything you listen to. Now let's summarize what we discussed. This task is all about pronunciation, not about content or ideas. Focus on the sound of the sentence, the rhythm, and the pacing. You don't need to prepare or plan anything. Your only job is to listen carefully and repeat what you heard. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but that's normal. With practice, copying native rhythm and sound patterns will become easier.